a day.
This is Atlatl Rock, where the petroglyphs are, and as you scan across the road, you get to the entrance of the Pinnacles Trail, and this is the objective for today. I believe it's about 4.5 miles, and it covers all of this area. This is Wednesday, March the 18th, at Valley of Fire State Park, Pinnacles Trail. According to Annie Swan's book, there are trail markers for about 1/4 mile or so. Then they disappear and you're on your own. Now what she does, she starts near the entrance of the Atlatl Rock campground, which is over there in the distance. And then she travels along and behind these red rock formations. She says it's a more scenic route than this one. You could go either way here because all these washes sort of make their way through this area. So the sign says to go this way. Let's sort of pan this area some. And on the way back, as a landmark, we'll be looking for that rock right there, which tells you that you're back at the Atlatl parking lot. Sandstone outcropping or formation. Lots of creosote bushes. And if that's creosote, these little bushes are probably white bursage. And then this skeleton looking one is shad scale. And a big pluff of Mormon tea here. This sign here marks the point where the trail starts descending down into the valley where the pinnacles are. There are two prominent peaks. This is the one on the left, then the trail. And this is the peak on the right side. So clearly the trail goes between them and around the bend and then down around that peak on the right side. But as you pan backwards, you can see the landmark of Atlatl Rock is gone, but you still have that hill in the distance to guide you, because all that you'd have to do is head towards that hill until you get around the bend, and then you would see the Atlatl Rock. This is a perfect example of how you could get lost in here. As you can see, this is indeed a fork in the road. The larger wash goes this way, which is away from the Pinnacles and going away from that peak on the right side as the marker. Which one would you take? Would you go to the left or to the right? Well, thankfully there's some markers there, so the choice is fairly easy. We want to go, there's a marker here right at the beginning of this wash, and then a trail marker further up. But again, always be mindful of landmarks when you're out here hiking. So this is what they call the Pinnacles. So this boulder here would serve as a landmark. When you get to this rock, you have made the curve around the hill that was to the right, and you're down in the valley. This is some interesting black dirt. Now we're looking for two things. One is a balancing rock, and the other is Mrs. Butterworth. I think that's Mrs. Butterworth right there. And this may be the balancing rock right there. At this point, part of the trail is a little bit obscured, but we're heading towards that marker in front of Mrs. Butterworth Hill. And look at what we find here, a tank. Now it rained here a while ago because all of the ground is dry, but this water obviously get shelter to some extent. Also, I notice here some scat. And some little poops. So obviously the sheep or whatever comes over here to get water. Interesting. So let's get back on this trail here. So I suppose this area is what they describe as the amphitheater, with rocks on this side and this side, and a wide open area in between. So this is the marker we saw way down there in the valley. And there's Butterworth. Oh, there's a balancing rock through there. Here we go. With me. First. Surely. So the Osmo Action ran out of battery, and I didn't bring the extra battery along, so things will be a little more unstabilized. But here's those markers that we saw at the top. Those two. And here's the view of the Pinnacles. That's quite a climb. So we're almost 3 miles into the walk. Finally, as we round this corner, we can see that big wall of sandstone, which I had mentioned earlier would serve as a landmark. Once we get around this bend, we should be able to see Atlatl Rock. And we can deadhead straight towards that or follow the GPS track. This is a nice hike though. I'm not sure about real little kids doing it without getting tired and dehydrated. Really puts you in the back country. And you get a an appreciation of the solitude and the beauty of this land. And as you can see in the distance, there's the big red wall. And at this point, we can pan in this direction, and there's Atlatl Rock. And I also, at this point, see a trail marker which takes us out of this creek bed, because as I recall, this creek bed goes almost to the red wall, so you would not want to continue in that direction. You wouldn't get lost. You'd eventually hit the road or hit that trail that goes up to the white domes, but that's not where you want to go. You want to head towards Atlatl Rock here, so let's follow the trail marker. At this point, we are approaching Atlatl Rock. Four hours and 21 minutes. And this is the starting point. And that is Atlatl Rock. And I believe I see a Jeep.